Hi, my name is Jonathan Anderson, and today I'm going to be identifying a couple of emerging trends within the current IT industry and relating these trends to certain sectors of the public domain. This will involve exploring a few case examples and how the presence of that specific trend can have either a positive or negative impact on the IT and non-IT professionals that would be involved in their inclusion. To start with, I'm going to kick things off by looking at the emerging trend of Web 2.0. Firstly, it should be known that Web 2.0 is not exactly a new thing. However, it is something that is really only just developing in terms of its true potential. What it involves is the utilization of web applications to facilitate participatory information sharing, interoperability, and user-centered design, which effectively is the long way of saying it allows users to engage in a much more interactive online experience. So how does Web 2.0 impact on the community as a whole? Well, for this example, we are going to have a look at non-for-profit organizations. Now, these organizations do amazing things for the community. However, they are very difficult to maintain as they are heavily dependent on funding and often require heavy community involvement. As a result, unless there is a current event, it is often the case that these organizations get lost in the crowd. Thus, this is an area that Web 2.0 can help with, and in fact Martha Lane Fox, the British government's digital champion, says that charities are suffering because they have failed to embrace the digital campaigning as enthusiastically as they should. So why do these organizations need to move with this trend? Well, short answer is, if it is done right, it works. Thus, the example I'm going to use to demonstrate this is a little organization called Flood Aid, run by a small group of Queenslanders. Now, many people would remember the amazing damage that was caused by the Brisbane River floods. Thus, these individuals use social network mediums of Facebook and Twitter to create viral hype around a website where people could request and offer help centered around the current disaster. By creating this hype, Web 2.0 effectively granted this organization community exposure, community involvement, and funding for the organization, and was therefore a major positive for the non-IT professionals involved. Meanwhile, it also created a platform that IT professionals can build onto to aid support efforts during future disasters. Now, this is just one example, but it demonstrates how other organizations can embrace this technology to further advance their public standing, exposure, and possibly funding so their actions within their community remain present. Now, the second trend I would like to explore is that of cloud computing. Cloud computing can be broken up into three areas: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. But for this exercise, I will be demonstrating two of these specifically on the retail sector and how their inclusion can be a positive thing. Our case example for this will be Telstra's retail operations. Now, currently a major problem within Telstra's front of house stores is excessive waiting time for service, ranging anywhere up to 2 hours and sometimes even more. This results in numerous customer complaints. However, with the process for an interaction taking up to 45 minutes per customer, it is often impractical to stick more staff on the floor due to space constraints. So how can cloud technology reduce the required time of this process, thus increasing productivity? Well, within the listed process, Telstra Corporate identified two key time-consuming areas: the activating of the service and the processing of the services through point of sale. Thus, two new cloud-based technologies were progressively introduced: a platform-based service for the activation of services and a software-based service to interlink with the activation database, making point-of-sale transactions a quick and easy venture. In theory, by utilizing these cloud services, it would reduce service times as well as reducing global wait times. So what did this do for the individuals involved? Well, for the IT professionals, the introduction of these cloud services created jobs centered around the development and expansion of these services, as well as a support team to aid those in front of house operations with complex problems they may have faced. As for the non-IT professionals, those using the systems found increased usability, faster activation times, as well as a platform for easy account manipulation and expansion, resulting in the shorter wait times and better service for the customer. Now, unfortunately, a new system is rarely perfect, so the introduction of these systems resulted in massive system errors, causing extended service outages. Now, what this shows is a negative scenario of what can happen when any software system is not properly tested. However, it should be noted that even though it was a significant problem at the time, the cloud-based nature of the system allowed it to be modified and redeployed much easier than if it was a piece of locally run software, which in turn is a major positive drawn from an ultimately negative situation. So what does this mean in a general aspect? Well, essentially retail is a very broad market whose requirements are often determined by the stock that they sell. However, essentially the sales process within the retail sector follows the same or a similar path with every single transaction. Thus, the benefits of cloud technology from this example can be assumed to apply to the majority of retail processes currently in operation.